United States of America is the most successful nation the world has ever known. And I think that's largely because we're the freest nation. Humans cannot reach their potential, cannot realize their dreams unless they're free.
If prosperity were easy, everybody around the world would be prosperous. If freedom were easy, everybody around the world would be free. If security were easy, everybody around the world would be secure. They are not. None of this is going to be easy. But this is the United States of America. It takes an extraordinary effort. It takes extraordinary commitment. It takes extraordinary strength. The Valley Forge wasn't easy. Going to the moon wasn't easy. Settling the West wasn't easy. We are the American people. We have seen difficulties before, and we always overcome them. This is about rolling up our sleeves. I mean, we might have some differences, but at Americans putting our head down and getting it done.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the show. My name is Wayne Dupree, and we are live here on our Friday, your Thursday. Let me introduce to you Mr. Jason Robinson. What's up, Jay?
Hey, top of the morning or afternoon, everybody. Thanks for taking time out of your day to tune in. What's the jersey, Wayne?
It's Dallas Cowboys. What's your jersey? You just waking up?
Actually, I have my Don't Blame Me, I Voted for Trump shirt on today.
Man, you look like Swiss Family Robinson there.
Giddy up.
Let's see. Around lunchtime, we usually come up with, there's a whole lot of breaking news that comes up around lunchtime. Ron DeSantis let Ken Griffin rework legislation to allow CCP members to buy land in Florida.
Yes, he did. It just came out this morning. And it's establishment GOP to the T. We talk about the GOP being corrupt. We've broke down how Ron caved to Disney and set up a new board seats. And now, he let Ken Griffin push through legislation that he signed off on that lets Chinese people buy property in Florida. Yes.
You know what? That only happens when you're bought.
Yes.
It only happens when you're bought. When you owe somebody, when somebody puts millions of dollars into your coffer, puts into your account, you got to pay the piper. That's basically what it is. I mean, you going around and you signing legislation and holding press conferences. Chinese people, CCP will never buy land in Florida. They'll never do it. And then all of a sudden, one of your donors comes out and says, we need you to be lax on this because I have some holdings over there in the CCP. Do this for me and we'll give you more money.
Yep.
That's basically what this is. What a jet, man.
And it's stupid because establishment Republican, this is their playbook. These folks donate huge sums of money to your campaign, and then they expect something on the back end. And in this case, it's now letting Chinese citizens buy land. Now, the question will be, is it, because we talk a lot about Chinese citizens being different than the CCP. But in this case, there's no delineation. They can't say, okay, well, a regular citizen can buy land, but not somebody in the CCP. So any CCP party official can do it. So, and this is why the establishment Republican Party sucks.
Jesus. Man. Whatever, man. He is who we thought he was. So I mean, that's just basically all that. You know, he's going around saying that he beat Disney. He hasn't beat Disney yet. You're trying to get out of a lawsuit because you probably know that Disney is probably going to win. You know what? There's another video that I was going to play earlier in the week. Basically, he said, the lawsuit isn't against me; it's against the state of Florida. You are the state of Florida.
Right.
You are the state of Florida. You know, he said, yeah, Disney's not suing me. They're suing the state of Florida because of, you know, I mean, they've been going around and doing these things to the kids and stuff. I'm like, that's not what the lawsuit is about, chump. The lawsuit is about you overreaching, government overreach into their business because they came out in public and said that they didn't like your law. That's what it is. And you're trying to turn it again. I mean, and look, you're trying. I mean, he is great at changing the narrative, though.
Right.
He is great at. I mean, he is seriously almost a pro at changing or trying to change the narrative, because you know he's trying. Well, you know, they're doing all these pedophile stuff and everything. You know, okay. Then he says, well, nobody should have that much power over a district and whatnot. You know, we have to bring them back down. But then I heard that the old folks people or the old folks area down there sort of has something like the same thing. The villages, is that what it's called?
Yeah, there's some different things that are structured weird with property down in Florida where where they did some things to get investments in the communities and whatnot. Yeah. Well, and let the record reflect too with the Disney thing. Ron DeSantis and the Florida legislature passed a law like a year and a half ago that said they were just doing away with the whole thing. Disney could just be another company in Florida. There's no special Reedy Park district. They passed that. And then they would have been done with this Disney thing. Disney's just a private company. They're just the same as everybody else in Florida. They went back and passed this other complicated legislation before the first legislation took effect that just created 5 board positions for governor appointed people to help have oversight in Disney, and Disney's fighting it. I mean, there was clearly a chance.
Well, it actually started before that. It started with the quote, "Don't say gay" bill, which it wasn't, but that's what they label it. And Disney just came out and said, we don't like it.
Right.
You don't like it? What do you mean you don't like it? Let's go after them. Well, no. They've been getting away for a long time and doing this. So basically, he was trying to make an example out of Disney. That's all. He was trying to make an example out of him. He got caught, and he wants to get rid of the lawsuit. Ladies and gentlemen, look, we ain't here to lie to you. We've been watching it. We just don't get caught up with a whole lot of these stupid headlines. He got caught in his own book saying what he wanted to do or what he was doing to Disney. He basically, I mean, they're going to use his own words in court. That's how that goes. They're going to use his own words in court. And basically what he's trying to do right now is get them to drop the lawsuit because it's time to move on. That's something I saw earlier.
He got all the headlines he needed, and he made a special spot for his donors. He's good. Like, I got out of this what I needed. I wasn't trying to change anything, and I appointed 5 big donors to the board of oversight for Disney. Yeah. Life's good for Ron DeSantis.
Yeah. And you saw he's still dropping. Case in point, if you are doing what you need to do and reaching who you need to reach and talking about what you need to talk about and explaining what you need to explain, you shouldn't be dropping in the polls if people agree and if people are receptive to your message. You shouldn't be dropping in the polls, period.
Right.
Okay. and he's dropping. He's dropping every day. And I think what's going on, and check me on this, but I think what's going on is once you're on that snowball down the hill, you start picking up a whole lot of that negative stuff that makes it go faster. Even if it's not true, it starts latching on and it starts to go faster down the hill, and it makes it look like it's part of the whole snowball. Am I right?
Oh, yeah, especially with Ron DeSantis, because his whole campaign is predicated around I'm Trump policies without the drama.
Without
I'm
the drama.
electable.
Yeah.
I'm people like me. And then they come out and they decide to attack President Trump, which is silly.
Yep.
And then you get this like Disney drama and all this other stuff. And people look at him and say, why would I buy tickets to the cover band when I can just buy tickets to the original band? It doesn't make any sense. And this week, we're going to talk about should Trump go to the debate, but Ron DeSantis wants President Trump at the debate because he knows if he can't get some headlines, everybody knows millions more people will watch it if Trump's there. Yep. And he needs to try to score some body blows against Trump because politics is all about momentum. It's all about how people feel. And like Wayne said, it's that snowball effect. And when everybody's like, okay, we'll overlook the fact the big money donors, but nobody's jumping on the train. He's not very charismatic. Nope. He doesn't have a lot of tangible things. Florida's got a bunch of rough stuff right now. If you look at insurance rates and tax rates, I mean, there's trouble.
And a whole lot of the things that he championed and was talking about early when he came out, a whole lot of that stuff has been overturned by the courts. Now, not to say that it's done because it's going to get appeal, and maybe 3 of those things are going to go to the Supreme Court, but they got overturned while he's out there on the campaign trail. So he's out there saying, we stopped this, we stopped that, we stopped that. If you go back on to Florida and look, the drag show things can continue.
Yep.
That he said that he stopped. The drag show things can continue. The school stuff down there is going crazy. Some educators and stuff, they aren't filling the educator roles or the teacher roles or something like. They have a shortage down there now too.
Yep.
And it's, look, most of the stuff that he probably put out there, we can agree with from a conservative side.
Right.
But there's legislative ways of doing it instead of heavy hand fisting doing it from the executive branch of the governorship. Because once you do that, you're like Boss Hogg. You're like a Democrat. Because okay, all right. I know, Jay. There's an argument out there. Well, if they can do it, we can do it. Okay, fine. Yes. If they can do it, you can do it. But if you do it, stop complaining about them doing it, because now you're doing it. You don't have an argument for them to stop because now you're doing it. So what makes you better, even if it's wrong? Before you were doing it, it was wrong.
Yep.
Then you decided you wanted to do it because they're doing it. So now you're doing it because they're doing it, and both of y'all are wrong. And only people getting hurt are the people below because they are feeling the heavy boot of the government on their necks. Yeah,
I was going to say, I think part of politics, we talked about this the other day, is mutually assured destruction. You have to say, even some of these legislative practices that one side can use, once you open the door on that, then the other side can use it too. Yep. And that's part of why Republicans have lost, is because the Democrats, I mean, you see it with all these Trump indictments. The Democrats, I mean, they're going to charge Donald Trump for taking the tags off his mattress. I mean, that's coming. And today there was another Biden story that dropped. I don't know if you saw that one from Comer. But so the 5th Trump indictment's coming because the Biden stuff. Oh, Wayne's, you didn't see that, did you? James Comer. It turns out when Joe Biden was vice president, he was using a pseudonym on emails, something like Robert J. Peters or something like that. I'd have to look it up. And that's why a lot of their Freedom of Information Act inquiries and some of their document requests, they weren't giving them the emails because they were using pseudonyms. So if you ask for an email from Joe Biden, well, if he's using an alias on the email, they don't have to turn over that document. So they've discovered that. And now they're saying, oh, can we get these documents unredacted? Because this was all during the time when the Burisma and all that stuff was going on. And so pretty interesting stuff. But anytime something like that happens, it breaks on a Thursday. So you know something's got to happen, some other Trump charge or something, so that the weekend, all the weekend stories can be about President Trump and the 35th indictment in the 20th state or whatever. So yeah, it's crazy.
Well, I will tell our audience this, because this is also our last day before next week. Monday, we were to have Peter Frampton is dead. Peter Frampton is dead.
Really?
Yeah,
that just happened.
Yep, dead at 88.
That's sad.
Peter Frampton, music executive behind the Police. The Sting, right? Sting was part of the Police, right?
Yep.
Yeah. On Monday, we were supposed to have a special guest, Donald Trump. But I'm hearing that there's supposed to be a press conference, I guess, on Monday. So I'm not sure. We've been trying to solidify and find out, but we wanted to let you know that my special guest on Monday in the 12:30 time frame was President Trump. So we're still trying to find that out, trying to make sure that that's covered. If not, we'll let you know on Monday. But as of right now,
press conference is interesting because they're saying President Trump initially announced he was going to hold a big press conference releasing all the Georgia evidence they had. And then that's probably a bad legal tactic. They should probably wait on that. So I think people are trying to talk him out of doing it. But it's fun because now the narrative coming out of the left is, oh, he's scared to release his evidence or whatnot. It's like, well, no, the guy's got some felony RICO charges. He probably needs to listen to his lawyers. And next week, I mean, if we get Trump on, that'd be huge because next week he's got like 5 court dates. I mean, he's got something for almost every case that's against him. There's something going on next week with. It's crazy.
And a few of those he doesn't have to appear in.
Right.
I do know that, but he does have to turn. Well, it looks like they're all going together. Right. I think I read something where they're all going together as a group.
The Georgia one.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's talking about trying to prosecute them all in one large group.
Yeah.
And did you see today too? A member of the Georgia House actually launched an investigation into her for her dealings. I mean, it's good Republicans are finally standing up, but I mean that woman should be disbarred.
Well, a lot. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I've been trying to find out some information about her and some of the stuff that I mean, because it looked like she's been doing this for a while, and I know people have been talking about the Black Panthers and stuff, but when the Black Panthers came out, they were militant, yes, but they were also taking care of the community. If you go back and you look at a whole lot of stuff, they were doing breakfast for the children and stuff, and they were making sure that the community was clean, no drugs at all, nothing and everything. Seriously, y'all, until the FBI infiltrated the Black Panthers, and then drugs start filtering in, and then the next thing you know, I'm looking, you know what? There's just so many things that people say that could be taken this way and that way. And the there's a lot of passionate people out there. Just be careful how y'all respond to different things, because you don't want to. I mean, we know what is going on with President Trump is wrong. We know that. We know it. Oh my God, we know it. I was thinking about it. Late last night, or maybe even early time in the morning. Damn. I mean, four indictments going on all at the same time. And I mean, you look at all the past presidents and stuff, you know they did stuff wrong. You know it. You know the people in Congress have done stuff wrong. You know the people in the media have also done stuff wrong. Probably part of these pedo child trafficking rings too. And they don't, and even if they get caught, they don't get treated like what Donald Trump is getting treated like right now. And they just don't want us to choose who we want as a presidential candidate. They don't want it. It's like impeding on their playground. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like ruffling their feathers.
Well, we talk about that. So if everybody thinks it as a right versus left paradigm, you're missing the bigger picture. It is the plebs and the working class, both on the right and the left, against the ruling class. And the ruling class has pretend fights where they both screw you over different ways. I mean, on the right, they take money to go blow up countries. On the left, they take money to, censor and seek power. But either way, the ruling class wants to ensure the ruling class stays in power. And it's, everybody looks at, Donald Trump's the most corrupt president ever because he has all these charges, but you're just falling for the narrative. And the fact is, if you go back, you can't tell me that President Trump is the most corrupt politician we've ever had. Most corrupt president or Speaker of the House or head of the Senate or any of that. So why is he the only one that's ever faced charges? And I think it kind of goes back to when he was first running in 2016 and it became evident he was going to be president. The establishment Republicans supported him because they're like, well, at least we'll get him in there. He's a big business guy. So we can make money off his big business policies. And then he got in there and that wasn't his focus. His focus is how do we help the normal Americans? And so that's why the ruling class is so petrified, because they don't want him in there actually trying to make life better for Americans. And you know what? Are all these Trump charges valid or not? Maybe. I don't know. We'll find out. But the fact of the matter is the fact that no other politician has ever had to face charges like these, especially these really weak ones like the New York and even the Georgia one, is super, super weak. I'm yet to find somebody that can actually give a legal breakdown and say, oh, yeah, this is really serious. You get to do alternate state of electors. You get to challenge the results of an election. You get to do that. That's legal. It's America. Oh, Wayne looks deep in thought.
Yeah, again, we aren't lawyers, though.
Right.
We're giving opinion on that, but because I know I have heard the argument that Jay's making about the electors. I have heard that, and I have heard a whole lot of stuff that Jason was talking about. So, but in lawyer talk or lawyer, we don't know what they have, and we don't know who is saying what. So we can look at I even heard from Bill Barr, of all people, and I think that he let this slip. Jack Smith might have more stuff than what he put out there, and he also let it slip that he is willing to testify. Now, when they asked him, I was like, okay, well, did you say anything to? Well, I can't comment on that. Well, you just did when you said that you would testify. You already have told him that. So, I mean, your testimony is going to be part of the federal thing that you went in there and you told President Trump that he lost the election. We know you said that because you've given an interview on that. You said it a couple of times, and the next thing you know, you don't have a job anymore. So, I mean, that's probably what he's going to testify to. We did ask the question: should Donald Trump appear at the debate next week? Most of the people on Twitter said no. Most of the people said no. Fox News did a promo for it. No, I can't do that. No, I will.
Even though President Trump is kicking everyone's ass in the primary polls,
we're still trying to set him up with our bullshit Republican primary debate.
I mean, maybe he'll show up.
And we're just hoping everyone takes shots at him so we can help Ron DeSantis.
Because we're Fox News.
And we suck.
And we don't really give a shit
about our viewers' opinion.
We only care about getting a big fat paycheck.
And about not getting fired like Tucker Carlson.
The first Republican primary debate by Martha McCallum and Brett Baer.
Because we're
True story, baby. True story.
It is parody though, y'all. Okay. We just met. I saw it on social media. It's just that it was good. It was good. I gotta say it was good. Okay. That was AI. That was AI generated. Okay. Well, the voices were AI generated. Gotta watch out for that. You know, CNN just came out with speaking of that, CNN just came out with another brutal discovery. Somebody told CNN let's see. And I mean, honestly, I'm starting to get sick of it. Seeing somebody keeps giving CNN all of these things. I'll find it while we're talking to Roy. Laura Loomer and Ron Filipkowski are working together to attack Ron DeSantis. We have found common ground. Ron Filipkowski, I follow him. He talks about he used to work for Ron DeSantis in Florida. And I think that's why I feel the way I do about Ron DeSantis, because he knows a whole lot of stuff that happened in Florida that Ron DeSantis put a kibosh on. Don't talk about it, you know. And Ron is not afraid to call out Ron DeSantis. All I got to just say is one thing to Filipkowski and to Laura Loomer. When this whole thing is over, y'all better move.
Right.
Y'all better move, because I don't think there's any restaurant or any bathroom that's going to be safe for y'all down there in Florida. In public bathroom that's going to be safe for y'all down there in Florida. Yeah, I mean, because man, y'all are hurting Ron DeSantis bad.
See, I've been blocked by Ron for a while on Twitter.
Really?
Yeah, I had he was out there spewing some nonsense about Trump, and I had gotten a couple replies in that were he was just making dumb assertions about President Trump, and so I replied to him, and then thank goodness for my Twitter followers, they went nuts on the replies on it, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, that went well, so I click back on it. It says you've been blocked. I'm like, okay. Yeah, I gotta say the DeSantis people. I've been blocked by Ron. I've been blocked by
you got blocked by Ron too?
Yeah, and Pushaw.
I mean, I haven't. I'm just wow.
Yeah, wow. Christina Pushaw. Like, yeah, they didn't like me pointing stuff out. That Christina got me when I was pointing out the Disney stuff. She didn't like that. Evidently, Ron DeSantis voters or supporters don't want people to know.
And I mean, not one of Ron DeSantis supporters will answer my question about the felon
right
thing. About him arresting felons before the midterms, then holding a press conference. We have found illegal voters in Florida, and we're fixing it so it won't happen again. One person that was arrested got charges dropped.
Yep.
The other people, I don't know if the court cases are still out there, but the reason why I had a problem with it is because they were told that they could vote. Every body cam that was shown in that video that's on YouTube, you can go check it out. Most of the people are like, what's that? What's going on?
Right.
What's happening? What? But voting legally, what are you talking about? They told me I could vote.
Yep.
Well, why wasn't the people that told them to vote? Why weren't they arrested? That's the issue with me. That's the issue, the whole issue. And he won't say anything.
Right.
He won't say anything. And Ron DeSantis supporters just give him a pass on that. If you allow a leader to do that, then that says something about your character too. Period. Trump didn't do that.
Well, and it's funny too. Ron DeSantis, he was a fine governor. There were policies he did, things we agreed with, things we didn't agree with. But the fact of the matter is, in this election cycle, we need somebody who's going to go into Washington that's not going to be under the thumb of the establishment class of the Republican Party, the big money donors, and everything that's trickling out, how he handled Disney, how he's handling letting Chinese or people buy land in Florida, stuff like that. I mean, we've seen this playbook from the GOP for decades, where they are beholden to their donors. They get kickbacks on the back end for doing policy prescriptions, and we're going to be talking to Roy shortly. Many of them are on the take, even on the GOP side from the CCP, directly or indirectly through donations or through business deals or whatnot. And I mean, that's how the GOP sucks. Those people that are in there, other than probably 20, 30 of them, they're in it for the money. They're not in it to look out for what we're doing, what good American citizens need. So
we're going to talk to Roy in just a second about the Ken Griffin. Hopefully he knows a little bit about the Ken Griffin thing that just happened too with Ron DeSantis. But somebody said maybe that's why Ron DeSantis got $2 million donation from people connected to Sequoia Capital.
Yeah, that's Griffin's company.
Well, Griffin also gave him $5 million too.
Yep.
So
man. Always follow the money, folks.
Man.
That's what's great too. I'm surprised Laura Loomer didn't get that one, because she pours through those donation reports and it's like, oh, look who gave money to Ron DeSantis. Now look who he did a favor for. Oh, great. So yeah, this should be fun with Roy. We're going to talk some economy collapsing in China. I hope he has one of those fly shirts on this week. Like he's always such a champion with those.
Yeah, you know it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be right back. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to have Roy from the new federal state of China, and we're going to be able to ask him some questions about, or have him give us a little update about what they're doing to America too. We're broadcasting on the Red Voice Media Network. We'll be right back.
Attention Americans, breaking news. Biden's dangerous plan for a digital dollar is underway. Don't be fooled. It won't benefit you. Take action now. The Federal Reserve phased deployment of FedNow began on July 1st, 2023. Be prepared. This may catch many off guard. Your hard-earned assets are in jeopardy. But there's a simple legal tax loophole to opt out of the digital dollar. Reach out to American Alternative Assets for a free wealth protection guide and discover how to safeguard your wealth with gold and silver IRAs against a failing dollar and volatile markets. Visit protectfrombiden.com. This invaluable guide provides precise steps to transfer your IRA or 401k into precious metals without any tax consequences. Be smart. Don't let Biden force you into using the government's new digital dollar. Visit protectfrombiden.com to get your free guide and get started. Again, that's protectfrombiden.com.
When I invented MyPillow, my passion was to help each and every one of you. And 20 years later, all of your support is what keeps us going. Because of you, we've been able to create thousands of USA jobs and help millions get the best sleep ever. To thank you, my employees and I are bringing you a limited edition MyPillow. The Giza Elegance MyPillow is made with my patented adjustable fill, the most amazing cotton, and a 2-inch pipe gusset. It has 4 custom loft levels, machine washable and dryable, and you get my 60-day money-back guarantee and 10-year warranty.
Go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get your limited edition 20th anniversary MyPillow queen size. Retails for $69.98, now only $19.98. That's right, get a queen size MyPillow for only $19.98.
From all of us here at MyPillow,
I thought I changed it. Wait, wait a minute. Hold on. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. Let me introduce. All right, well, let me first off, Jason Robinson, Wayne Dupree here on the Wayne Dupree podcast. Hutch is off today. We are welcoming our friend, our brother, our young, fearless brother, Roy Guo from the new federal state of China. What's up, Roy?
Thank you, Wayne, Jane. Hi. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure, always a pleasure to be here.
You have the middle seat this week, so you know I you look good in the middle. So listen, man, I don't know if you've been this news just came out about the Florida situation. I don't know, and this kind of just came out. So if you have any information, good. If not, we'll check on it next week with you. But it looks like the Florida governor who came out and said we have legislation and we're not going to let the CCP buy up any land in Florida, and that's passed, and put that on check, and I'm going to campaign on that. Now it looks like one of his donors has a workaround saying that he wants to have people from the CCP buy up land in Florida, and it looks like Ron DeSantis is okay with that. Have you heard about that?
Yeah, it's funny to see those back and forth in politics. And, CCP is good at playing this, right and left. And we've been talking about using the conflicts, and like we call it like debate, and talk about it like someone disagree, someone agree. But CCP has a bigger like picture to complete, bigger puzzle to piece together, which is to systematically infiltrate the United States. And if you look at the map where it's already been or the companies that controlled by the CCP has already been like acquired, like buying all the land, not just farmland, but the land, the military bases, like the lands around military bases, right? They're buying those up. And this is like a infiltration in a deeper level. And also I heard like you and Jay have been talking about like Sequoia, right? Like the donors and everything. And Miles, the founder of New Federal State of China, he's been exposing this for years. Like 3 years ago, he was on a broadcast talking about Sequoia China, like the Neil Shen. Neil Shen was like the person who everyone look up to, and he like have all the resources backed by the CCP. Like the former premier Zhu Rongji has a really deep connection with Neil Shen, and Neil Shen was supported by CCP in terms of military intelligence and also money. Right. And remember, like I talked about like when ChatGPT first came out by OpenAI, Neil Shen offered like $100 billion to buy it. Imagine what's the consequence of that be like if it turned out if he succeeded, right? Like the AI is like the next generation, Google. Like it can be like easily like trillions of dollars worth, and also it controls people's ideology, like things you believe is true, is normal or not. And it gives you like a finite answer to everything. And then CCP now is like buying this up. So it's an infiltration everywhere.
It's funny you mentioned Miles Go videos, because I love going back and watching these videos from 3 years ago or 4 years ago. And it's like he could have released that today and it would have made sense. And when that story broke, I wonder what Miles said about Sequoia Financial. And he had multiple videos talking about how in bed the CCP in China were with Sequoia Capital. And it's like, oh yeah, circle of life. It all makes sense. You talked about the Chinese buying up tons of property in America. And it's one of the underreported stories where they own farmland and land next to military bases and all kinds of stuff. But I'm seeing in the last couple of weeks where China's facing their own property issues in China, and it's looking potentially worse than the 28 real estate crash in America from an outsider perspective, that could have just devastating consequences to their economy if their real estate crashes. Is there anything to that, or is there anything to be concerned about that?
Yeah, definitely. That's also one of things Miles talked about like for years. He said the real estate sector or the whole economy, like supported by the like real estate, will collapse at the end. And it seems like now it's around the corner. It's a layman moment for the CCP right now. So I guess you're talking about, you saw the news about Evergrande and also Country Garden, right? So
Right.
Country Garden owns like 4 times more projects than Evergrande. So people talking about Evergrande and it's more famous, but this Country Garden is like way bigger, right? It has like over 3,000 projects versus like Evergrande only has 700 something. And this company ranked like 206 in Fortune Global 500 list of 2023. And and also like remember those projects, the 3,000 projects unable to sell, and they failed to pay interest to US based creditors,
Right.
And Miles used to say, like, I remember it was like in November 2021, I was hosting the show. I had the honor to did a live broadcast with Miles, and he said like Country Garden, Evergrande, Sunac, R&F properties, all those development, all those companies will go bankrupt. That was 2021, and now I think around the corner. And he also exposed that Joe Low, who's like one of the White Gloves and one of the biological sons of Meng Jianzhu, one of the biggest kleptocrats of CCP, they build a city, like they control the Malaysia projects of Country Garden, and they plan to build a city in Malaysia to do money laundering as a money laundering platform, also an intelligence hub in Southeast Asia. So you can imagine, like the deplorables in China, they buy apartments, they save like 15, 20 years like for the money to buy an apartment that's not even like owned by them. Like it basically a 70-year rental agreement. They never own anything. So after 70 years, it expires, right? And also you look at the quality of those buildings, it's like tofu drag constructions, right? It crumbles, right? It falls apart by itself. When an earthquake comes, like those 100,000 people die because the poor quality of the construction, right? Versus when you see like earthquake happening in Japan, like nobody dies because they have a best structure. And like just a month ago, remember like a gym in Northeast China, like just collapsed and fall along all the whole team of volleyball girls like in high school, they're all buried alive and 11 people died.
Wow.
It's a big news. Like in Northeast China, it's a city of Qiqihao.
That's tragic.
Yes, and what CCP did, CCP is like covering it up and not letting like parents to see the body even, and have them sign the agreement. Yes, they have them sign the agreement of something like not talking about it on social media. And we have videos all over the internet to see, how angry and how helpless those parents are. So that's why we always say CCP is the enemy of the Chinese people.
Yeah, and believe me, y'all are doing a great job with that. Let's see, the U.S. and Taiwan military the tension seems to be growing between them and the CCP. What do you know about that?
Well, now like we see U.S. is increasing the support, like it's more obvious, it's more direct, it's more straightforward, which is a good sign, like to show support to Taiwan militarily. And also remember, like I said, China, like the CCP is doing its own job. The CCP is having its own military development and deployment near like Cuba, Key West, in South America, like in Middle East, Saudi Arabia and Iran, like in Hawaii. Like Miles talking about this also a lot. And remember, like when the tension between US and CCP reached to a certain point, what she's gonna do. Is there a plan? Is there like what was she gonna do to to the economy or to the whole like inside economy? Like it's gonna implode. We definitely know that. But what's the impact on a larger scale on worldwide, right? Remember, again, American people invested money in their funds have their money in the saving accounts, and those money was invested into CCP companies. Remember, there are still like over 250 like companies listed on stock market, which worth like over $1 trillion. That's U.S. capital market, right? And Americans spent 2.3 trillion in financial investment in CCP, $1 trillion in treasury bonds, the CCP issue, like $2 trillion in financial products, $2 trillion in reserve pool, money reserve pool for currency swapping, right? And also $2 trillion, I believe, in tech sectors like factories, and also $1 trillion investment in Hong Kong. That accounts for like $10 trillion in total.
Damn.
And when the tension reach some point, she will confiscate those $10 trillion U.S. asset.
Right.
That's gonna be a completely disaster. Like when American people, like when I'm on your show and on other people's show, and people ask like, what does this to do with what to do with general like public or deplorables, like people, common people, like American people, right? Those are your money. Those are your savings, your 401k, your pension funds, and now like she's gonna confiscate all those money. This is gonna be disaster.
It's fascinating you say that, because back at the beginning of the Ukraine-Russia conflict, people forget we did exactly that to Russia, where assets in America from Russian or Russian oligarchs or Russian citizens, the federal government just seized. And if China chooses to, and they seize all these assets that American assets that are invested in Chinese companies or different financial products, it could be disastrous. Now, talking about Taiwan though, and the Chinese military, do you ever think that they'll actually engage in shooting conflict? Because I'm just looking at the history of China, and other than turning guns on their citizens, I just don't see them being military aggressors for a long time. It seems like they think it's cheaper just to pay off the politicians and do it through financial means. But I just can't wrap my head around if they're going to enter a land war. What do you think about that?
Well, Jay, you're right about the infiltration. Like, of course, CCP infiltrates everyone, right? It's not just infiltrating U.S., it's also infiltrating Taiwan and buying the Taiwan politicians using BGY plan, right? And a lot of our compromise, of course. So that's also one of the reasons why we're so worried, because think about it, if Taiwan stand up against CCP and be determined to fight it off, probably like the world will help. But what if like when CCP, the second CCP come ashore or like start the attack, then Taiwan just surrender? Right. That could be another situation. But on CCP's side, if we look at the timeline, CCP's economy is gonna explode. It's like a ticking bomb. It can collapse anytime. And the analogy is just like when in 1920s or 1930s, like when the world is experiencing the biggest financial crisis ever seen, and the World War happened, right? Hitler came out, and then just the countries just shift the conflicts from inside to outside. So that's the exact disaster I'm talking about when we talk about the vaccine disaster, when we talk about the financial disaster, when we talk about all the ties between the world and the CCP and the financial assets in hands of Xi. So that's the moment Xi is hoping for, waiting for his lifetime to happen. And when that happened, imagine all of the world just fell ill on the mass injuries and death of vaccine, and CCP is already buying up all the politicians and infiltrated all the apparatus around the government, all the executive branches, and CCP is already deployed all the military facilities around any sensitive locations. I mean, how could you fight this war? And what's the result of this war?
Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking with Roy Guo of the new federal state of China. He's part of their roster over there that has been trying to illuminate many Americans about the dangers of the CCP and how the CCP and the Chinese people are two different things. So when you see headlines, and that's probably the media connecting both for a narrative, Roy and his group are trying to say, wait a minute, hold on, wait. Chinese people are basically, most of them are slaves to the CCP. Really can't do anything, can't go anywhere. Well, there's so many things that they can't do because the CCP has got them on lockdown. Am I right?
Exactly, and Chinese people never got a chance to vote for his own for their own government, right? They never voted for this Chinese Communist Party, and they got silenced, they got killed. The level of corruption is beyond imagination, and people were just like you said, like they're just slaves, right? They put like millions of people, millions of Uyghurs in concentration camp. They silence people whenever a disaster, a natural disaster, and more of a man-made disasters, like we talk about the flooding, the tofu drag construction that fall apart like all time, earthquakes where no one should ever die, but hundreds of thousands of people die, and organ harvesting, and now like CCP is trying to wage a war against the world, along with the other dictators. So CCP is the biggest enemy of Chinese people,
and they're working on this mind thing, this what's it called, mind like type warfare, or I read something about it where they're trying to develop some type of technology. You know what, I'll find out more about it while, hopefully before we let you go, which is kind of fast. But Jay, did you have another question real quick?
Well, I was going to say, just kind of expand on what Wayne was talking about over in China, and Roy can expand on this. He knows more people and has more details on it, but they do a lot of social engineering with kind of like what we did in America through MK Ultra, where we would program individual people. They do that on mass scale through TikTok, through social media. They even go into it in churches. And I've read that there's a lot of government infrastructure that talks about how you can mentally control the thoughts of the population. And we see it. We were talking about when we send somebody to China, and you give the one like us acting tough, and then you get us acting weak, and the us acting weak is what gets broadcast to the Chinese people. So do the average Chinese citizens, Roy, even understand how bad things are over there, or is it just completely filtered out?
Well, I would say majority of them, they're just slaves, right? They don't even have a chance to think or have a chance to discuss about it, because they're trying to just keep themselves alive. Right? They're trying to feed themselves. Like I said, over 600 million people, they live on like $150 a month, and then they try to feed their children. They try to like live their normal lives, and they understand they cannot change much. That's like part of the population, and the other part of the population, they feel like they're oppressed, and they understand the situation is bad, but they don't have enough resources to access. But that's also like exactly why our show and things you're doing is very important. On one hand, they have access to the truth, to have access to the real information, like apart from like all the brainwashing, all the disinformation, misinformation, like CCP is trying to brainwash them, and also the people. Remember, the people inside CCP, I'm talking about like 99% of them, they're good people. They're against the system. They're against the CCP. They just need support, right? That's exactly what we're doing with the new federal state of China. Like lots of supporters, over 500 million people, like agree with us or support us. There's like in China, and they're in certain positions in CCP or like outside of CCP. They're some of them, they just in their physical position where by themselves, they don't understand how to take down this such a huge, systematic, evil, regime. But together I think we can do it. And also Chinese people start to understand after one disaster, after another disaster, after one, they've been fooled all the time. Remember, like their friends, their family are dying, that they died. And then they just got fooled again and again by the CCP, and they start to get enlightened by the things we're doing, exactly what we're doing right now.
It's funny you say that, because I was watching some videos about the floods we talked about a couple weeks ago. And one thing that struck me is all these Chinese citizens, and it's hard to find video on it. Many of them have never traveled more than like 20 miles from their house. And they have no idea that there's a bigger outside world, and that's why I think when they see us talking about things here, why it's so impactful for them. So,
and too, I was just talking about that, the brain technology and stuff. I'm looking here, and even in 2021, the U.S. accused China of developing brain control weaponry. In 2022, China is developing mind control weaponry that could break enemies' will to resist. Later that year in 2022, China claimed success in controlling a bird's mind. Experts say that it could be used for anti-terror or military ops. This stuff, and even as far as 1 month ago, China developing brain disrupting weapons, analysts warn. I mean, y'all tell us that they don't even think about today. Their strategy is looking down the road, man. They're looking down the road and putting a lot of their money and stuff down the road while they're putting money or trying to buy influence over here. It looks like they can walk and chew bubblegum at the same time. But with all that said, to stop them, you want us to decouple, and that's going to slow them down tremendously, right?
Yes, not just slow them down, but actually they will collapse, they will implode by itself, because like I said, its own economy cannot last long. And now, like I said about the data, like now still CCP has like $10 trillion of American people's money. Those are taxpayers' money. Those are all of our money, right? The government doesn't generate, or the politicians, they don't generate any values, right? All the values, all the money were created by the poor, by the 老百姓, by the middle class, by the people who work. Those are the people who provide products, who provide services, and create those value, along with the Chinese people, 1 billion slaves, and we're being kidnapped by the people at Davos, by the politicians, by the CCP, and the elites class, right? Mm-hmm. So that's why, like I've been talking about, like even though like we just see the U.S. can just cut the technology, cut the financial ties, cut the all the connections, and stop supporting them, like we will win. We will win this, and we will change the world.
Yeah, it's almost like we just need to let them collapse on themselves. They've got themselves, they've waged a financial war against the world, and it's just unsustainable with us continuing to be addicted to the goods and services.
And remember, like lots of audiences for Win the Pre-Show, and also like lots of supporters in FSC, they're inside CCP. They're working in secret. They're supporting us in secret. They're finding an opportunity, any opportunity they can seize to just eliminate those, just several top like families, right? Xi Jinping, like those people who like still loyal to Xi Jinping, and CCP will be gone.
Right.
Roy, I want to thank you for coming in again this week. Your information is invaluable. We enjoy having you on, and we're glad that you're so well versed in bringing us this information and breaking it down for even the smallest person to understand. But I do gotta let you go. But we'll see you next week. Is that right? We'll see you next week.
Yeah. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure.
Have a great weekend, Roy.
Yeah. You too.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take another break, and when we come back, we're going to have more here on the Wayne Dupree podcast. J-Rob from Minnesota, Wayne Dupree. Hutch is out today, and Roy, our brother, is. You can still check them out at New Federal NFSC official That's nfscofficial.com, new federal state of China. We're broadcasting on the Red Voice Media Network.
Do you ever wonder who's really pulling the strings behind to invest in and advocate for China? People are starting to question whether Sequoia Capital is a threat to the U.S. and if they're part of a hidden shadow government. Miles Guo has been warning about the dangers for years. It's time to unveil the truth behind Sequoia Capital's connection with the CCP.
When I invented My Pillow, my passion was to help each and every one of you. And 20 years later, all of your support is what keeps us going. Because of you, we've been able to create thousands of USA jobs and help millions get the best sleep ever. To thank you, my employees and I are bringing you a limited edition My Pillow. The Giza Elegance My Pillow is made with my patented adjustable fill, the most amazing cotton, and a 2-inch pipe gusset. It has 4 custom loft levels, machine washable and dryable, and you get my 60-day money-back guarantee and 10-year warranty.
Go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get your limited edition 20th anniversary My Pillow queen size. Retails for $69.98, now only $19.98. That's right, get a queen size My Pillow for only $19.98.
From all of us here at My Pillow, thanks America!
We interrupt today's programming to bring unfortunate news. Biden's dangerous plan for a digital dollar is underway. Don't be fooled. It won't benefit you. So take action now. The Federal Reserve's phased deployment of FedNow began on July 1st, 2023. Be prepared. This may catch many off guard and put your hard-earned assets in jeopardy. But here's the good news. There's a simple legal tax loophole to opt out of the digital dollar. Speak to someone at American Alternative Assets for a free wealth protection guide and discover how to safeguard your wealth with gold and silver IRAs against a failing dollar and volatile markets. Dial 833, the number 2 USA Gold. Yes, call now, 833-287-2465. This invaluable guide provides precise steps to transfer your IRA or 401k into precious metals without any tax consequences. Don't let Biden force you into using the government's new digital dollar. Call 833, the number 2 USA Gold. Yes, call now, 833-287-2465. Act swiftly, 833-287-2465.
How did I do that? Look, check this out. I was just thinking about something during the break. It's not that people are asleep. They're just in their echo chambers.
It's not even that they're in the echo chambers. They're watching a different movie than we are.
In social media, if they just want to hear something that they just want to hear, that's what they're going to hear. They're not going to hear anything else.
Well, yeah, and maybe echo chamber, different movies. I mean, it's kind of the same thing in a way. So people look at the Trump charges and go, oh, Trump, he's guilty, he's corrupt, he's the worst thing ever. And critical thinkers who are watching a different movie, same facts pattern, can say, okay, well, maybe Trump's corrupt, but why is he the only politician that's ever been charged for this? Because I can name 10 other presidents that have committed crimes. I mean, you want to talk about Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, any of the Bushes, all those folks should have had crimes. So instead of but we just look at facts different. The people that are, and even you see it now,
which is weird. Facts should be facts. Nobody should be looking at facts differently.
Right.
Facts is it. Facts is, well, back in the day, facts is facts. This is the facts. This is the real thing. This is what happened. But it seems like now today, everybody has their facts. Everybody has their interpretation of the facts. You talk about Donald Trump. I used to get mad when Donald Trump was in office, and Donald Trump used to come out and say something. Okay. I used to take Donald Trump exactly what he said. Rarely did I come on my program and say, this is what Donald Trump means. I used to watch that all, but I used to see that all on Twitter though. He wasn't really saying that. He was saying this.
Right.
It's like, no. Oh, so what you do? You're interpreting what Donald Trump means, and the media was getting mad back in the day because they could never have, with all the other presidents, they had the president said something, they got him, tied him to this and whatnot. Donald Trump wouldn't let the media do that.
Yep.
And they got frustrated. You can see them getting frustrated. Well, we don't know. We don't have any because they didn't have anybody that was close enough to him to know what was coming. So whenever he said something, breaking news. He just we need to get a department to watch his tweets. Watch his tweets. We don't know what's coming. You know what I'm saying? So that's but going back to the echo chamber, people aren't asleep. They're looking at their own movie, or they're stuck in their echo chamber reservations. They are stuck. They don't want to. And once you get into these echo chambers, you don't want to hear nothing from the outside because you think everything that you need is in that area, that group, that clique that you have. You don't want to hear anything else. You're stuck. You're stuck there. But the major problem with that is that when problems come, you aren't ready. You aren't built to fight against the problems because you only know one thing. You're like, well, how did that happen? I didn't know it was coming. Well, you didn't know it was coming because you were stuck in this echo chamber. President Trump, in the last year of his term in January, February, kept telling everybody they're going to try to cheat me.
Yep.
They're going to try to steal it. They're going to try to cheat me. And what did everybody do? When's his next rally? I need to get to the next rally. When's the next rally? There he is. Oh, my God, there he is. I need a picture. He's up there in front doing his speeches, trying to tell everybody they're going to cheat me. They're going to cheat me. They're going to try to take it. And everybody's like, oh, okay, all right. Shoo. We know what's head.
Well, and it's interesting too, because it's not even that people are seeing different facts. It's that they're being told how to interpret different facts differently, if that makes sense. So like this last election, the media came out and said, oh, most safe and secure election ever. Anybody with an ounce of critical thinking can look at all these anomalies across the United States and say, there's probably 20 cases here that deserve to be looked at. And the people who want to believe that Trump lost will say, oh, well, the court wouldn't even take him up. Never mind that the court never looked at the evidence, that the court looked at standing and things like that. But then the media comes out and says, Trump lost. But I mean, if you're at all a critical thinker and say, how on earth could they declare in like 2 weeks that this was the most safe and secure election ever and Trump lost? Because they hit that narrative right away. They never wavered. And like nothing to see here, folks. And we saw it all the time in the Trump presidency. It was funny that last year, my wife was still working. She worked in the medical industry and I was working from home. And I remember where I would watch the Trump press conferences every day. And we would talk about what will the media report that he said after watching what he really said. And I talked the other day about the drinking bleach hoax. And I remember I watched this and Jen got home and we were having dinner. I'm like, oh, it's kind of cool. They had a doctor out there talking about some of these different treatments. Sounds like they're doing some stuff with UV lights. And then we turn on the news and it's Trump tells people to drink bleach. And I'm like, that's not even true. So we went back and we watched it together and we're like, no, I mean, he did ask kind of a dumb question. Can he use something like, he didn't say bleach, but antiseptics in the body. Right. He asked a doctor that. But then, I mean,
that's sitting off to the side. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, but I mean, years later, people still think Donald Trump told people to drink bleach. I even had a guy the other day who said that on Twitter. I'm like, find the video, and he sent me the video, and then I'm like, dude, he didn't watch it. And then he came back and he said, wait, he never said drink bleach. I'm like, yeah, no, he was acting in a doctor about it, and if that was even possible. And the doctor said, we're looking into it. But people just, they accepted that fact pattern that Donald Trump was a kook and a loon and crazy, and that fit their narrative. So in their movie, Donald Trump's a bad guy. So in their movie, like, it was a thing.
Yeah, again, when it gets down to it, and you look at those narratives, they have to make up stuff because they can't latch something onto him because he's always moving around. He's always changing certain things. So they have to make up something to basically slow him down and say, or to get him to react. That's why I don't want him to go to this debate. I don't want him to go to this debate because I think it's a trap. I think it's a major trap. Not only do I think it's a major trap, but if he, even though, okay, let's say he doesn't show up to the debate, that he's going to do something else. And it's not far. I mean, he's done it before. He did it. He did it in 2016. He didn't show up to the debate, and he did his own thing.
Right? He needs to watch the live stream on the Wayne Dupree show.
Yeah, right. I mean, he did his own thing that night. So I mean, it's not like this is the first time that's happened. But they're gonna get up there and they're gonna badmouth him for not being there. And it's like, wait a minute, this is a presidential debate. You're supposed to be telling us why you want to be president of the United States and what you're going to do. Right. And if you're going to take all of your time to bash him for not being there, you're just wasting time. You don't need to be president of the United States. You're trying to compensate for not having a plan by attacking him for not being there. That's all that is. That's all it is. And I mean, and I hope that people find you out, and I hope that people call y'all out for doing it if y'all do it. Let's see, Biden. I got a video that I was just given. I'm not sure what it is.
It's not bad whenever you can host a dignitary like a president, but it also builds a lot of traffic in the area that's really not needed right now.
Sheffield also questions the purpose and timing of Biden's trip.
There's some world events and there's some U.S. events. How about the southern border? How about our economy?
He was like, you don't have to come to Carson City. You can go to the border.
It's so funny because the on the street interviews you see about Joe Biden,
those are crazy.
They are just the average citizen is not into Joe Biden. I like seeing the ones too that are talking about. There's been a lot coming out where people go into largely African-American communities and ask about the Department of Justice, and that in Black communities where they were unfairly targeted for police presence and prosecution for years, those communities are like, they're doing that to my boy. Why are they doing that to President Trump? And it's a two-tiered, and it's more of an economic thing with a lot of those communities. But yeah, the on the street stuff, people want Joe Biden to do his job. You know, we're 3 years in. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. Did you see the? Let's see. Was that it? Did you? What's up with his walking?
Joe Biden, he looks like a robot.
It's not bad whenever you can host.
That's not. What's up with his walking? Is he focusing on his walking so that he doesn't fall down or something? Or
I was gonna say, dude is really old and his health is deteriorating rapidly. And so I'm thinking he's doing that. And we saw with my father-in-law, God rest his soul, Ron, when he was getting worse and worse physically over the last 18 months, where it's like, I'm gonna go do this thing, and this is gonna require all my concentration because
right.
I need to make sure I don't fall over and break a hip. And he's like, oh gosh, I got to walk across the grass. Okay, come on. Stay focused, Joe. Stay focused.
No potholes. Yeah, no potholes.
Right.
My Yorkers looked like he was going to answer a question, and then hear what the question was. And
the ongoing work. Mr. Secretary, the southern border numbers are up to 130,000 after dipping down. Are your lawful pathways working? When are you going to answer my questions?
But now he's the director of Homeland Security, right? DHS.
Right.
They get new officers.
Oh yeah.
$300 million.
Yep.
$300 million. He's getting a new office, but he.
So this is a perfect moment to be announcing this $300 million IRA investment here at DHS headquarters. We're doing three things. First, we're building a new headquarters for CISA, the Cybersecurity Infrastructure Security Agency. Second, we're building a new headquarters for ICE, the Immigration Customs Enforcement Office. And third, we are building a new parking garage as well as entry gate and security checkpoints for the entire campus. So we are, through all of that, not only helping DHS meet its important mission, but also making sure we're using the best sustainable building practices to do that.
Federal government just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And you wonder why they don't want somebody like Trump in office and why they'll do anything they can to help sideline his presidency or stop him. Because it's not about politics even. It's all those people that are working in that agency. Do you want to support the guy that's going to make your agency bigger? Or the guy that's going to make your agency smaller? It's pretty simple math.
You know where that money's coming from? The Inflation Reduction Act.
Yep.
$300 million is coming from the Inflation Reduction Act.
Right. You mean the Green New Deal?
Yeah,
I mean, that's where the money, that's really what that money is about, was the Green New Deal. Yeah. And it's funny, too, because they just printed and dumped a bunch of money into the economy. And that's why a lot of the financial indicators are pretty good. But, you know, and we've talked about it. I don't know how many more times we can do it. Like, I didn't know we could hit $37.5 trillion.
Yeah. You're right about that one. Oh my goodness. $300 million for a new that was 3 buildings and a parking garage.
Yeah. And that's on top of the new FBI headquarters getting built. And yeah, they just keep making it bigger, Wayne. And people don't understand that the federal government is the most corrupt. It is the least efficient, the biggest waste of money we have is the federal government, in my opinion.
Georgia's Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones, who is being investigated by a special prosecutor as one of the state's 16 fake electors, told Newsmax on Thursday he's not going to apologize for looking into claims of irregularities for his constituents.
Correct.
Now, that lieutenant governor is a whole lot different than the other lieutenant governor that is on CNN.
Mm-hmm.
They're like night and day almost.
Yeah, that was the previous lieutenant governor.
Yeah, the one that's going to testify against Donald Trump in Georgia.
Yeah, and really to understand this elector thing at kind of a high level, the Electoral College, if you feel that those electoral college votes there was election fraud, they can contest it and kick it back to the state, or it ends up in the House of Representatives. And like I say, the fact that all these elections were declared clean and there was no issue or whatnot was remarkable. And before we wander off too, Wayne, I just want to talk Terry, longtime viewer and often has insightful comments. And so I just want to give Terry something to think about, because I was talking about the drinking bleach. And Terry's response was, like you said, Jay, I never heard him say drink bleach, but he did have a weird conversation in a private meeting in hopes of showing he was seriously looking at everything to solve the problem. And I just want people to think for a second back to the drinking bleach moment where everybody was like, Trump's stupid, he said drink bleach. If you go back and watch that press conference, he was talking to doctors about different therapeutics they were using, from ultraviolets to antiseptics to different things they were doing. What if every headline came out instead of Trump told people to drink bleach? What if all the headlines were what really happened? Donald Trump had a interesting conversation with the doctor about some new experimental treatments that we're trying to use to defeat COVID. Ultraviolet light, for example, and other things. What if that was the headline for the next week? Hey, let's all talk about some of these different treatments that can do. But instead, we created a fake narrative with the media to undermine President Trump, to say he told people to drink bleach. And people still to this day think that that's a thing. And that's how the media controls you. And that's how they, I mean, I challenge you to go back and rewatch that press conference. I just did it the other day.
Yeah, no, it's there.
Yeah,
You're right.
and it was a pretty interesting press conference. I mean, there was some weird stuff in it where he was talking about treatments, but here you got the president with the doctor talking about like 10 or 15 different things they're trying to do to control the spread of the coronavirus. And the headline coming out, instead of like, wow, check this out, here's some different things they're trying, was Trump said drink bleach. It's kind of like the ivermectin horse paste stuff. You know, now it's coming out that maybe ivermectin works for things we didn't think. But some people, when you bring up ivermectin, they think horse paste.
Yeah, I don't even care about it. I mean, I ain't taking it. I ain't taking that. And I ain't taking any other thing. And I even said it during the pandemic. I don't care what y'all throw out there. I'll be all right. I'll be all right. The horse stuff, whatever, false narrative, whatever it is, I ain't taking whatever it is, because if it's my time to go, it's my time to go. That's just it. Again, on Monday, we're scheduled to have President Trump on the show. And if anything deviates from that or changes, then we'll let you know. But President Trump will be here on Monday in the 12:30 type hour. He used to be on the show regularly. As a matter of fact, we used to interview him a lot. Last time I saw him was at the White House before the election. He knows his way around the show. It's going to be a welcome back type of thing, but we look forward. I'm saying this, just in case, but we look forward to having him on. Going to ask him some questions. We'll probably give him some suggestions about the debate. He can have his own, or he can still go and sit on the front row. Everybody likes that one. Just sit on the front row and make everybody on stage nervous.
Get a big bag, get a big bowl of popcorn, sit there chomping on it. You know what I want too? I want that front row. I wanted him. I want General Flynn. I want Roger Stone. I want Laura Loomer. I want Steve Bannon. I mean, I'd like Wayne and I on there too, but I'm just saying, like, let's get the hardcores out there just lined up. Like, let's go, boys.
That'd be fun. That'd be funny. Man. And I don't have to be on. Just put me on the second row, right behind him, so I could laugh. So I could laugh behind there, like snicker, like.
Well, what are these guys going to talk about? Their whole campaign is Trump's terrible.
Now it is.
Christy, what's your policy prescription? Well, Donald Trump sucks. Okay, well, what are you going to do about Social Security? Well, did I tell you Donald Trump sucks?
Keep on. Watch this. Go ahead, keep on.
Yeah, well, and that's what he's going to do is, and frankly, the only one up there who will have any vision for anything will be Vivek, and Vivek will sound a lot kind of like Trump. I mean, I think their policies are pretty similar. And I tell you what, this debate is going to be interesting. I really hope President Trump, part of me wants Trump to go because it would just be a spectacle. But a big part of me doesn't want him to go, because when you get the Keebler elves up there and they have nothing to say other than taking shots at the guy that's not there, it's going to make him look even more ridiculous.
But it makes them kamikaze type deals too. So, yeah. Yeah, you're right about that. But no, I mean, they can keep on asking those. I mean, Chris Christie can keep on asking those questions, and he can keep on attacking Trump. But you can shut him up very quickly. You can really shut Chris Christie up on that debate stage very quickly for the entire night. You can shut him up by one question. Did you sign the pledge to accept the nominee for the Republican Party? That's the only way he's going to be up there. And if he says yes, whatever you said about Donald Trump, it doesn't matter because you're going to accept him with all the stuff that you thrown up at him. You just said you are going to accept him to be the nominee.
Right.
Next. Next. We don't need to ask you any more questions tonight because you don't have anything else. You can talk bad about him all you want to. You're going to look stupid doing it because you're going to accept him to be your nominee. So,
well, that's what people have to realize too, is the establishment Republicans, none of these folks are running because they think they can be president of the United States. Mike Pence doesn't think he can be president of the United States. Chris Christie doesn't think he can. Maybe Ron DeSantis thinks he can. Maybe he thinks they take Trump out and he thinks he'll have all the big money behind him. But most of those folks up there are just running because they're anti-Trump. They're just convinced Trump's a horrible person and bad for the country, which is really remarkable because in the Trump years, other than all the chaos and violence from the left, they were some of the best years this country's had in the last 20 years. Yeah. You know, those 4 years, we had no new wars. We had an economy that was doing really well. Pre-COVID, you know, we were getting a lot of stuff done, and that was with an unsupported Congress. I mean, Congress was obstructing him. And, you know, for everybody saying, oh, well, Trump, you know, there was so much unrest. Yeah, it wasn't Trump doing it. It was all the people protesting Trump. Like there was name one policy Trump did that was warranted the reaction from the left. And there just isn't much. It's crazy.
We're getting ready to go for the week. Just got some information that the Red Voice Media Network is now adding Apple TV. So congratulations to them for adding Apple TV. All right. Got to get ready to get out of here. Winners and losers. You want to do that?
Oh, yeah. We should have done that yesterday with Hutch. But I will say this week for my winners and losers, I think the winner of the week, President Donald John Trump. And why I think he is the winner is this Georgia case coming out. I was concerned that there would be something there, and everything they presented showed there's nothing there. And it's just further going to expose this targeting on the left. And it's going to spurn Republicans to finally do something other than tweet about it. And right now you actually see things moving where people are actually trying to take action on the right, which is long overdue. And I have to say my loser of the week is Ron DeSantis. And that poor man, all things aside, politics aside, all of the issues with Ron DeSantis, he got talked into running this campaign by the elite Republican establishment. And he is effectively ending his political career. And if that's what he wanted to do for a living, he is going to be such damaged goods after this campaign. Yeah, I feel bad for him on a personal level. He's done. Yeah. He's done. And then for the weekend, folks, make sure you spend time with your friends and family. Go out and enjoy it. Wayne, over to you.
Yep. My loser, my winner. My loser this week is Ron DeSantis. I also agree with Jason. Again, you keep falling like a rock. There's something, you know, he got rid of 1/3 of his staff. He's changing campaign managers. He's doing all this stuff, and he keeps falling. You better start counting you better start thinking about it, dude. You better start thinking about it. And I guess my winner is doing the pre-show because We followers have started to increase, and our viewers on Rumble have started to increase too. So thank you so much for that. Y'all have a beautiful weekend. Don't forget to check out WayneDupree.com and also Wayne Dupree Show on Rumble, along with Red Voice Media Network on Rumble too. Y'all have a great weekend.